Good afternoon, my name is Lawrence. This is Calico Woodworks here at Calico Ghost Town. This store focuses on puzzles of metal and wood, focusing on mental dexterity, but we also focus a lot on the history. We call it a small store that's big on history. As I mentioned earlier, the store focuses on puzzles of mental and dexterity as well as history. It's a little store that's big in history. The front wall focuses on what we call women's history. A lot of times when people think of the West, you always think gunfighter or cowboys, but the cowboys were off working or they died very young. So each of these women contributed to the 1800s. In staying with the history that we present here in Calico, these are some of the newer products we offer. These are portraits of famous people from the 1800s, and these portraits are actually printed directly onto the wood. It's not a sublimation, it's not a lamination or a sticker, it's actually printed straight onto the wood. This one here is of Alfred Nobel. The name probably sounds familiar. You're probably thinking Nobel Peace Prize. But his accomplishment before that was actually inventing dynamite, which innovated and helped out with the way they mine here, even here in Calico. Prior to his invention, they used nitroglycerin, which was very unstable. If you dropped it, kicked it, bumped it, shook it, it was going to explode. He found a way of mixing it with diatomaceous earth, rolling it in wax paper, and attaching a fuse. And that's what gave us dynamite. One of the other pictures we have is of Annie Oakley. This is Annie Oakley. She was a female marksman from the age of 13. She was known for making a backward shot over her shoulder. And in this picture, she's wearing the marksman medals that she had earned. And these pictures are actually printed on cutting boards. And this portrait here is of the Butch Cassidy, the Sundance Kid, and the Wild Bunch. We have here some of the pictures of other towns that were important during the 1800s. We don't just promote Calico, but all the movement during that time. Logging towns, silver towns, gold towns. We have some pictures here of Deadwood, South Dakota, as well as Bayhorse, Idaho. Most of the products in our store are made by local skilled artisans. We have this shelf here. These items are made by a lady of Navajo heritage. She lives just a few miles away. The buildings on this shelf are made by an older gentleman that lives over in Ridgecrest, and he actually signs the bottom with his name of Dunk. Steve and Sandy, who used to actually work here, make the clocks for us. And the owner of the store, Daryl, actually makes the cutting boards for us. In addition to all the things I've mentioned so far, there's a few other products I forgot to mention. The walking sticks are actually made by a gentleman named Howie. He lives not too far away. He actually finds rare and kind of unique branches are left out in the desert, and he drives them in the rafters of his garage for about a year or two, then brings them to us. But in addition to these things I've mentioned, the puzzles, the history, the handmade items, we also offer tours that fall under what they call the Silver King umbrella of tours. We offer the 20 Mule Team Off-Road Tour, which takes you out to the town of Borate to the east of us, where borax was actually mined and hauled out by the 20 Mule Team. If you go into a store and pick up a box of 20 Mule Team borax and turn it to the side, you'll actually see the story of how borax was discovered and mined just east of Calico. We also have the Silver King Mine Tour, which was the largest producer of silver in all of California. Recently, we added the Silver King Town Tour, which takes you through and gives you the history of Calico, and we're working on a couple tours coming up in the near future.